Are you wondering if she's truly missing you or if you're just overthinking the situation? It can be tricky to tell, especially since women often communicate their feelings in more subtle, indirect ways. But don't worry, there are definite clues that can show when a girl has you on her mind. Whether it's an unexpected text, a moment of jealousy, or her reminiscing about good times you've shared, these signs are more than just coincidences. In this video, I'll dive deep into 12 powerful psychological signs that reveal she's missing you, and how to spot them even before she realizes it herself. Once you know what to look for, you'll have a new perspective on the signals she's sending your way. Stay with me, because understanding these signs could completely change how you approach your relationship. 1. When she reaches out first. If she's the one to make the first move and reach out, there's a lot more going on beneath the surface than just a simple text or call. It's an indicator that she's been thinking about you, perhaps a lot more than she's willing to admit. When a woman reaches out to you, especially after some time has passed without much contact, it's often her way of testing the waters. She's wondering if you've been thinking about her too, and whether you're still emotionally connected. It's a vulnerable decision for her because, in initiating contact, she's opening herself up to potential rejection or indifference, which can be nerve-wracking. What makes this situation even more telling is when she reaches out at night. Nighttime often brings a wave of reflection, and if she's alone, it's easy for her mind to wander to memories of you. Whether she's scrolling through her phone, looking at photos, or even having a late-night drink, the evening hours tend to soften her emotional guard. This is when feelings of longing can surface the most, and alcohol can even lower her inhibitions, making it easier for her to act on those emotions and reach out without overthinking. It's also important to pay attention to the frequency of her reaching out. If she consistently makes the effort to start conversations, even when you might not be as responsive, it's a strong sign that she's missing you and trying to keep the connection alive. When she's the one initiating the communication more often than you, it shows she's still emotionally invested and eager to reconnect with you. So, next time she reaches out first, take note. It's not just a casual text. It's a signal that she's thinking about you and wants to stay close. 2. The content of her messages. The way she communicates with you can reveal a lot about her true feelings. At first glance, a casual message like, "How's it going?" may seem harmless. But more often than not, it's her way of testing the waters. It's a low-risk attempt to check in on you, see how you're doing, and gauge your interest without putting herself out there too much. This might seem like a simple conversation starter, but it could actually be a sign she's subtly trying to reconnect without being too vulnerable. Now, when her messages start to include shared experiences or inside jokes, that's when you know she's trying to tap into something deeper. These references to your past together aren't random. They're a way for her to pull you back into that emotional space you once shared. By reminding you of the fun times, laughs, and meaningful moments you had, she's hoping to stir up those feelings again and reignite the connection you had. This isn't just small talk, it's intentional. She's using these messages to remind you of the bond you shared, and she's hoping it'll spark a sense of nostalgia and warmth. It's like a little emotional invitation, hoping you'll remember what made your connection special. So, if you start noticing her bringing up the good times, or referencing things only the two of you understand, it's a clear sign she's emotionally invested and hoping to bring that closeness back into your lives. 3. How she reacts to delayed responses. Watch how she responds when you don't reply right away. It can reveal a lot about her emotional state. If she sends multiple texts, follows up with more messages, or tries to keep the conversation alive, it's a sign that she's invested in maintaining that connection with you. Even though she might not directly say it, Her actions show she's seeking reassurance that you still care. This behavior usually comes from a place of vulnerability. When she doesn't hear back from you quickly, she might feel a bit insecure, and reaching out again is her way of seeking confirmation that you're still thinking about her. Whether she's asking something light or just trying to keep the chat going, her persistence shows she values the emotional connection you share and wants to feel that closeness again. If you notice her consistently trying to re-engage or follow up, it's a clear sign she's missing you and wants to keep the bond alive. She's not just trying to fill the silence, she's hoping you'll reciprocate her feelings. So, next time you notice her reaching out again after a delay, remember, it's more than just casual texting. She's showing that she's emotionally invested. 4. She remembers the little things. When a woman remembers the smallest details about you, it's more than just having a good memory. It's a sign of deep emotional attachment. If she recalls that you like your coffee with 2 sugars and a dash of cream, or she remembers a random conversation about a city you've always wanted to visit, it shows she's been paying attention. These little things aren't just facts to her. They're pieces of the puzzle that make up who you are, and she's holding on to them because they mean something special to her. But it goes beyond just remembering random tidbits. Every personal or meaningful thing you've shared, from your favorite music to childhood memories, gets tucked away in her emotional vault. Those details represent the moments when she felt a real connection with you. When she brings them up, it's like she's reliving those moments, reconnecting with the bond you once shared. Think about it. Imagine she surprises you with a gift that ties into something you mentioned months ago, like a book you'd wanted to read or a hobby you'd wanted to explore. It might seem like a thoughtful gesture, but it's more than that. It's her way of showing that she truly cares about what makes you happy. She's been listening, and she's been holding on to the idea of bringing a little piece of your world to life. This kind of attention to detail is a clear sign that she's emotionally invested and that you still occupy a special place in her heart. 5. She uses these details to rekindle emotional connection. When she brings up those small personal details, it's often a sign that she's feeling emotionally distant or worried about losing your attention. By mentioning things you've shared, like a favorite memory or something meaningful she knows about you, she's trying to bring you both back to a time when you felt closer. These little details aren't just random nostalgia. They're her way of reigniting the emotional connection you once had. In a way, these details serve as her emotional anchor, a lifeline that keeps the bond alive in her mind, even when there's physical or emotional distance between you. They're her way of reminding you of the connection you share and subtly pulling you back into a space where you were once in sync. When she brings up these moments, it's not just about reliving the past. It's her way of trying to bridge the gap and restore the closeness you had. So, if you notice her referencing past conversations or special moments, especially when things seem a little off between you, it's a clear sign she's holding on to that emotional connection and hoping to reignite it. 6. She brings up the little things. When she brings up those small, meaningful details, it's not just about reminiscing, it's her way of reaching out emotionally. By mentioning the things that matter to you, she's signaling that she's still invested in the connection you shared. It's her subtle way of saying, "I haven't forgotten the things that are important to you, so don't forget about me." These little reminders are more than just casual conversation. They're emotional cues that she's hoping will reignite the bond between you. When she brings up memories, preferences, or past conversations, it's like she's trying to weave those moments back into the present, hoping you'll feel that same emotional pull. It's a gentle nudge for you to remember the connection you had and to show her that it still matters. 7. She gets nostalgic. Nostalgia is more than just remembering the past. It's about reconnecting with the emotions that were tied to those moments. When a woman starts reminiscing about the good times you shared, she's not only reflecting on events, she's emotionally revisiting them. For her, nostalgia is a way to bring back the feelings she had during those moments, to reignite the bond you once shared. So when she says things like, "Remember that trip we took to the beach," or "I was thinking about the time we stayed up all night talking," it's more than just casual conversation. She's thinking about the times when she felt closest to you, and those memories have a deep emotional significance. Nostalgia often arises when she's feeling uncertain or distant in the present, and her mind naturally drifts back to happier, more connected times. By bringing up these shared moments, she's trying to recreate the closeness and warmth you once had. What's especially revealing is the type of memories she brings up. If she talks about fun, carefree moments, she might be missing the light-hearted dynamic you shared. But if she focuses on deeper, more intimate experiences, like a time when you both confided in each other or shared something meaningful, it shows that those moments held significant emotional weight for her. Nostalgia becomes her way of saying, "Things were great between us, and I really miss that feeling." This act of reminiscing can also be a subtle test. If you respond positively, she'll feel reassured that the connection is still there. But if you don't engage or seem distant, it may trigger her anxiety, making her fear that the bond between you is fading. So, when she gets nostalgic, take note. It's a sign she's longing for that emotional connection and hoping to revive it. 8. She shows signs of jealousy. While jealousy is often viewed as a negative emotion, in the context of emotional attachment, it can be a powerful indicator of how deeply a woman cares. At its core, jealousy is driven by a fear of loss, and when she shows signs of jealousy, whether overt or subtle, it's because she's afraid of losing the emotional bond between you. Jealousy doesn't always come out in dramatic ways. It can appear in small, seemingly innocent moments, like casually asking about other women in your life, or making light-hearted comments about you spending time with someone else. But what's happening beneath the surface is more significant. When she shows jealousy, it's not just about you being with someone else. It's about her fear of being replaced, both emotionally and physically. This sense of insecurity can make her question her place in your life and whether she's still as important to you as she once was. To cope with this fear, she may seek reassurance in subtle ways. She might ask more about your other relationships, or even downplay her own feelings, all while trying to position herself as the one who matters most to you. You might also notice her paying extra attention to her appearance or making an effort to spend more time with you, especially when she senses that someone else is becoming a bigger part of your life. This shift isn't just about trying to outshine others. It's her way of reaffirming her importance and holding on to the connection she values. Jealousy, in this case, isn't just about possessiveness. It's a sign that she's emotionally invested and wants to make sure she doesn't lose the bond she shares with you. 9. She shows signs of jealousy. Jealousy is often viewed negatively, but in the realm of emotional attachment, it can actually be a clear sign of how deeply a woman cares. Jealousy arises from a fear of losing something or someone important, and when she begins to show signs of jealousy, whether it's overt or more subtle, it usually means she's worried about losing the emotional connection she has with you. This feeling doesn't always show up in obvious ways. It might come across in small gestures, like casually asking about other women in your life or making light-hearted comments about you spending time with someone else. But the truth is, there's a lot more going on beneath the surface. When she gets jealous, it's not just about you being with another person. It's about her feeling replaced, both emotionally and physically. Jealousy often triggers feelings of insecurity, making her question whether she's still as important to you as she once was. This fear can push her to seek reassurance in different ways, whether by asking about your relationships with other women or subtly trying to position herself as the more desirable option. You might see her paying more attention to how she looks, or making an effort to spend more time with you when she senses there's competition for your attention. Here's the important part. Jealousy isn't inherently negative. In fact, it's often a sign of her emotional investment in you. If she didn't care, she wouldn't feel jealous. Her attachment to you is what triggers these feelings of insecurity, as she fears losing the unique bond you share. When she shows her jealousy, whether through playful teasing, sarcastic remarks, or even a more direct confrontation, it's because she's trying to protect that emotional connection. She's not just afraid of losing you to someone else. She's afraid of losing the special bond you have together. So, pay attention to how she reacts when other women are mentioned. Does she brush it off nonchalantly, or does she dig deeper, asking more questions? Is there a noticeable tension in her voice when she talks about it? These are the subtle clues that reveal just how invested she is in keeping the connection between you alive. In this context, jealousy is less about possessiveness and more about saying, "I don't want to lose what we have." 10. She flirts with you. More flirting is more than just a way to show attraction. It's a way to reconnect emotionally. When a woman starts flirting with you more, especially after some time apart, or when things have felt uncertain, it's often her attempt to reignite the chemistry between you two. But it's not just about playful teasing or compliments. Flirting becomes a subtle, yet powerful way for her to test where you both stand emotionally. It's a low-risk move to gauge if the spark is still there, without fully putting herself out on the line. When she flirts, it's a sign that she's interested in bringing back the connection you once had. Her playful behavior goes beyond just trying to make you smile. It's about re-establishing the emotional bond. If her flirting includes inside jokes or little references to shared memories, it's even more telling. These moments are her way of creating a private, emotional space between you, where she can feel closer to you without directly exposing her feelings. Flirting also gives her a chance to gauge your interest. If you respond with similar playful energy, it reassures her that you're still attracted to her, both physically and emotionally. On the flip side, if you don't engage, it could make her feel insecure or uncertain about where things stand. This is why flirting often picks up after a period of distance. It's her way of testing the waters and seeing if you're still invested in her. Additionally, if she feels like other people might be vying for your attention, her flirting might be a way to assert her place in your life. By flirting, she's reminding you of the fun, chemistry, and attraction you share, reinforcing her role as someone you're emotionally and physically drawn to. So, if you notice her being extra playful, teasing you, or showering you with compliments, it's likely her way of pulling you back in and rekindling the bond you once shared. 11. She talks about future plans. When a woman starts including you in her future plans, it's about more than just scheduling events. It's about emotional commitment. Women don't typically make plans with someone they don't view as important or significant in their lives. So, when she starts talking about what you'll do together next week, next month, or even a year from now, it's a clear signal that she's mentally and emotionally envisioning you as a part of her long-term future. However, it's not just about casual plans. The type of future she talks about reveals a lot about her emotional attachment to you. If she suggests going on a trip together or attending a meaningful event, it's because she sees you as someone integral to her life moving forward. Making these types of plans is her way of emotionally investing in the relationship and signaling that she wants you in her life for the long haul. Even small plans, like grabbing dinner next weekend or going to a concert in a few weeks, are still significant. They show that she's thinking ahead and imagining a future with you as a part of it. But there's another layer to consider. Making future plans can also be a way for her to seek reassurance. If she feels uncertain or insecure about where things are headed, she may start talking about the future as a way to solidify her place in your life. By suggesting activities or trips, she's hoping to create a sense of stability and emotional commitment. It's her way of asking, "Do you see us together in the future?" What's particularly revealing is if she starts talking about the future after a period of distance or doubt. This is her way of re-establishing the emotional connection and checking if you're still on the same page. If she's bringing up future plans, it means she's emotionally invested in making sure you remain a part of her life for the long term. She's not just focused on the here and now. She's imagining a future where you two are still deeply connected, and she's hoping you feel the same. 12. She's active on your social media. In today's digital world, social media is one of the easiest and least direct ways to stay connected without putting yourself out there too much. If she's constantly liking your photos, commenting on your posts, watching your stories, or staying up to date with your every move, it's more than just casual interest. It's her way of keeping herself involved in your life, tracking what you're up to, and staying emotionally connected without having to take the initiative to reach out directly. But it's not just about the likes or views. Pay attention to when she engages with your content. Is she more active after you've been distant, or when you post about spending time with other people, especially other women? This isn't by chance. Social media gives her the chance to observe you from a distance while still staying connected. If she notices you with someone else, particularly women, it could stir feelings of jealousy or insecurity, which might explain why she's suddenly interacting with your posts more often. By engaging with your social media, she's subtly communicating with you without needing to be vulnerable. It's a low-risk way for her to keep herself on your radar, hoping you'll notice her and perhaps even respond. When she increases her activity on your profile after a period of emotional distance, it's a sign she's trying to reinsert herself into your life without coming off as too forward. In many ways, social media becomes her emotional anchor, keeping her connected to you while allowing her to maintain a safe distance. It's a way for her to remain in your thoughts, hoping that you'll take notice and maybe even feel the spark reignite.